Did you know that over 100,000 Minnesotans apply for a learner's permit each year? If you want to be behind the wheel, keep watching to learn how to get yours today. Welcome to this explainer of the official Minnesota DVS source material. We're going to break down the exact step-by-step process you need to follow to get your Minnesota learner's permit. I'm absolutely thrilled to guide you through this because getting your permit is a huge milestone. But let's be real, the system can feel kind of overwhelming if you don't know exactly where to start. But before we get ahead of ourselves, consider this wild number, 56%. Did you know that a staggering 56% of people actually fail the written permit test on their very first attempt? Yeah, that's more than half. The state honestly doesn't make this test easy, and going in blind is a guaranteed way to hit a roadblock on your driving journey. So to make sure you aren't part of that statistic, here is our roadmap for today. We'll quickly run through eligibility requirements, study and preparation, the application process, handling the written test, and finally, your next steps. Okay, let's jump right into Section 1, eligibility requirements. Who can actually apply? The absolute minimum age to apply for a Class D instruction permit in Minnesota is 15 years old. But hey, if you're a teenager under the age of 18, age isn't the whole story. You are legally mandated to knock out 30 hours of formal classroom driver's ed. On top of that, you also have to be actively enrolled in a behind-the-wheel instruction program. Your driving school will usually hand you a certificate proving this, and you'll definitely need that piece of paper later. Now, if you happen to be 18 or older, you get to completely bypass that formal classroom requirement. Moving on to Section 2, study and preparation, getting geared up for the test. What's really awesome about this next step is how accessible the study materials are. You absolutely 100% must read the official Minnesota Driver's Manual. It's published by the Department of Public Safety, and it's available completely for free online as a PDF. It covers the whole shebang: right-of-way rules, what different road signs mean, following distances, and very specific traffic laws. Please don't skip this part, even if you feel like you already know how to drive. Honestly, just a weekend or two of reading through this manual makes a massive difference. And, the state takes this incredibly seriously. Right at the beginning of that manual, there is a direct message from the Commissioner of Public Safety. And like the commissioner points out, whether you're an experienced driver from another state or a teen getting behind the wheel for the very first time, mastering this material is absolutely crucial for keeping everyone safe out there. This isn't just about checking a box to pass a test. It's about making sure you aren't a danger to yourself or anyone else on the road. Okay, while you're studying all those rules, you also need to get your paperwork together. To prove your identity to the state, you've got to bring original or certified documents. Let me repeat that. Absolutely no photocopies and definitely no pictures of your documents on your phone. You need either 2 primary documents or 1 primary and 1 secondary document. Primary documents are things like a certified birth certificate or a valid U.S. passport. Secondary documents could be your original Social Security card or school-issued photo ID. Gather this stuff up early so you aren't tearing your house apart the night before. All right, Section 3, the application process. Time to make it official. You can't just stroll into most centers for a written test whenever you feel like it anymore. You've got to follow these specific steps. First up, book your appointment online at drive.mn.gov. You can do this up to 30 days in advance, and heads up, these spots fill up incredibly fast, especially if you live in a metro area. When you actually go in, make sure you have those original ID documents we just went over. If you're under 18, you must bring a parent or legal guardian with you to sign the application. Oh, and finally, be ready to take your official ID photos, so maybe dress how you'd like to be remembered on your actual permit. Now, on the day of your application, right before you even sit down for the written exam, you have to pass a strict vision screening. And this is not just a quick formality. The state legally requires a visual acuity of 20/40 or better and a visual field of 105 degrees. So if you normally wear glasses or contacts to see things clearly, make absolutely sure you bring them to the exam station. If you need them to pass this screening, your permit will actually have a restriction printed on it stating you must wear them while driving. Let's talk money for a second. Here are the exact costs you need to anticipate. A standard instruction permit is $29.50, and you only pay this fee after you actually pass the knowledge test. If you want to upgrade to an enhanced permit, that'll be an extra $15. Now, check out that third line. Your first 2 attempts at the knowledge test are totally included, but if you happen to fail twice, every single retake from the 3rd attempt onward is going to hit you with a $10 penalty fee.
Also, just be aware that if you swipe a credit card to pay, there is a small convenience surcharge of about 2.49%. Let's move to Section 4, handling the written test. Let's talk about passing that knowledge exam. All right, the test itself is made up of 40 multiple choice and true-false questions, and they pull these from a much larger bank of Minnesota driving laws. To pass, you've got to hit at least 32 correct answers, which works out to an 80% score. But hey, here is the really great news. The test is completely untimed. Seriously, you can take a deep breath, read every single word carefully, and think it through without some ticking clock stressing you out. It's also designed to be super accessible. It's offered in several languages, American Sign Language, and you can even request headphones if you'd rather have the questions read out loud to you. Finally, Section 5, next steps. You got the permit in hand, so what happens now? First things first, having a permit definitely does not mean you have a full license. There are incredibly strict rules for practicing out on public roads. The golden rule: you must never drive alone. Literally never. You always need a qualified, licensed adult sitting right there in the front passenger seat. If you're under 18, that supervisor has to be at least 21 years old. If you're 18 or older, your supervisor just needs to be 18 or older. Plus, teens under 18 have to log 50 supervised driving hours, including some specific nighttime driving on a state-approved driving log. And it goes without saying, but whenever you are behind the wheel, you must carry that physical permit with you. Also, you can't just practice for a weekend and immediately take your road test. Depending on your age, you're legally required to hold the permit and practice for a set number of months. If you're 18 or under, you have to hold onto that permit for a minimum of 6 months. If you're 19 or older, you must hold it for at least 3 months before the state even allows you to schedule your final road test. Before we wrap this up, we really need to highlight a very serious piece of legislation known as Vanessa's Law. This was passed in memory of a teen who tragically died while riding with an unlicensed driver. It's a strict rule that entirely strips driving privileges away from teens who drink and drive or cause major crash-related moving violations. If you violate this law while you just have a permit, you literally cannot get a license until you turn 18. Plus, you'll face massive fines, up to $680, and you'll have to retake all of your tests from scratch. It is a stark, very real reminder to buckle up, pay attention, and always drive sober. So are you ready to get behind the wheel and start your driving journey? We've covered the eligibility rules, study tactics, the application process, and the strict rules of the road. As you gear up for this really exciting milestone, please remember this one final professional disclaimer. While the information in this explainer is accurate based on current sources, state rules, fees, and processes can and do change. Always verify the most current details directly with official Minnesota DVS resources before you head out to take your test. Good luck studying, stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the road.